After 9 days of snow and wind, and a reported 11 feet of new snow on the mountain, the storm cleared, and we found ourselves riding the tram to the summit of the 13,000-foot Aiguille de Midi. To get to the places in Chamonix we wanted to film, we knew we had to have a good guide. And not just any guide would do. We needed someone with an adventurous heart and a dangerous reputation. With that in mind, please meet Murray Ball, a Kiwi mountaineer with a bad reputation for scaring his customers. Scott Schmidt had introduced me to Murray the night before in a crowded, smoky cafe. Murray pulled up his chair with a swagger that was very reminiscent of Han Solo as he offered to take Luke and Obi-Wan into the Alderaan system. Murray told me that he could take us to the places we wanted to go, not to mention some we'd have preferred to miss. But he wouldn't come cheap. As the sarcastic corners of his mouth betrayed a grin, I knew we'd found our guide. This was the first day the Aiguille de Midi was open for the season, with the exit tunnel through the glacier not quite cleared of snow and ice. The only people here now are sightseeing tourists or skiers who, with their guides, would be roped in and walk down the treacherous arête knife edge to a safe spot to put their skis on.
Chamonix, 9,000 vertical feet below. Walker Spur, one of the big north faces of the Alps. This one here is called the Couloir de Poubelle. It's about 47-50 degrees. It's a 200-meter shot, but we won't do that today because we have to go to Envers du Plan, but we can come back to that maybe. It's not bad. What I'm going to do, you can see all these people on the arête. It's not equipped. All the guides have put their people on a rope, so we'll go back in, put our crampons on, I'll put you on the rope, then we'll head off down the arête. Okay? Got about 200 meters on the arête, and after that we'll be skiing.
The original plan then was to walk until Scott Schmidt decided he wanted to ski the Poubelle.
Oh, yeah. Scott, do you want to try to ski it?
Yeah, I'll ski it for sure.
Okay. That's all right. It's cool here, Murray, then? No problem?
Yeah.
All right.
God, you gotta ski that.
Mike, are you going to go in?
Yeah.
That comes. 3, 2, 1. I'm close.
Stick!
Exhausted, Schmidt collapses and calls Mike Hattrup on the radio.
Yeah, I copy. Snow's real firm. Just don't let him go. Just keep it keep it down.
Like Schmidt, these were Hattrup's first turns of the morning with no warm-up whatsoever. And after a year off for knee surgery, Hattrup began to have knee pain 3 turns into the couloir. With 47 to 50 degrees steepness, this was no place for fatigue, yet that was exactly what was happening. Mike became tired and started skiing marginally, laboring through each turn. This began to concern Murray. Then the unfortunate happens, as Mike scrapes a rock and pre-releases from his ski, still a long way up in the couloir. The ski runs away and rests on a shadowy area to the left of your screen, which was a hidden crevasse.
Okay, Mike, your ski stopped right on a crevasse, so it's probably best if you don't come in above it. Just slide down the debris and then come in at the level of the ski on its left. Got that?
Is he okay up there?
Yeah? No problem.
From that point on, whenever Murray Ball said to me, "no problem," I always got a little bit worried. But Mike's situation was no problem compared to our next effort at the Couloir Poubelle, where Glenn Plake makes the recovery of a lifetime.
Schmitty, what did you think when you saw Blake and those guys rolling over inside that chute?
I thought they were gone, man, for sure. It was too steep to be around. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I said. When I feel Blake right on my ass, listen to me, I'm falling. Look out.
Man, 7th turn in 2 weeks.
Go around me. Go in front of me. I don't want you behind me anymore. There's a crevasse at the bottom.
It'll look right on camera, though.
Yeah, well.
He's we're fighting away with this tonight. Yeah, it's a good thing I brought my laundry in this morning.
Jesus. I thought for sure he was going.
And so began our relationship with a real-life version of Crocodile Dundee, James Steerforth, and Indiana Jones all rolled into one, and his name was Murray Ball. The big danger at Chamonix is crevasses, and Murray's main concern was to keep us out of them, unlike this fellow, who we did not know. When we peered over the edge here, we had no idea what we would see. The guy had snowboarded by us and disappeared before our eyes, clanging and rattling down a drain pipe in the mountains. Our film crew rushed over to assist with the rescue, and as we were digging him out, we were sickened by the odor of decaying animal flesh. Now I've got a haunting suspicion that the next time this fellow goes snowboarding off-piste, he's gonna check with his guide.
Anything